Good morning. Thank you for staying close to us. This is Starting Point. We deliver news from home and around the world with your anchor for today. My name is Uli Herdi, along with my partner.
I'm Aisha Fabian. Yes, as you mentioned, around the world, we are now connected with two diaspora who are living abroad around the world. One is in Japan, to be exact, it is in Ishikawa, and the other one is in Belgium, in Brussels.
Let's say hi to both of them.
Yes.
So joining us live at the moment is Elmo Juanara in Ishikawa, Japan, and Vanessa Utami in Brussels, Belgium. Let's check our connection first. Hello, Elmo and Vanessa. How are you today?
Hello,
Hello, I'm good.
Okay,
I'm fine. Alhamdulillah.
excellent. Thank you for joining us. Let's begin with Vanessa Utami first, who's now living in Brussels, Belgium. So now it's about probably 3 in the morning for her. So thank you for joining us. So Vanessa, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, maybe where you're from, which part of Indonesia that you came from, and then how long have you been living in Brussels, and how was the story behind, that you end up now living in Brussels, Belgium?
All right, I'm Vanessa Utami. I'm studying for my master's at Kent University, and I just moved to Belgium last year. I'm from Yogyakarta, so for me, this is my first time fasting abroad, and I got a scholarship from Vleerwas. It's from the Belgium government, so then I can pursue my master degree here.
Wow, that's impressive. And now let's move on to Elmo Giovanara. So Elmo, you are in Ishikawa, Japan, and we noticed also that you're quite active on Instagram telling your story. So why don't you share with us what was the story that now you end up in Ishikawa, Japan, Elmo?
Okay, thank you. Yeah, my name is Elmo Juanara. You can call me Elmo. I'm from Bekasi, West Java. So now I'm currently in 5 years in my stay in Japan. I started studying Japan for master degree in 2019, and currently I'm pursuing doctoral degree in different university, especially in Ishikawa Prefecture. Maybe in the maybe in the first year, there is a big earthquake in Ishikawa, and Ishikawa is one of my place. So we still prepare for another earthquake if there's earthquake. So yeah, I'm studying here by using the scholarship from the Japanese companies named Iwatani. Yeah, so I'm end up with the second year of doctoral student.
Oh, okay. Wow. Very, very impressive, both of them. And hearing your story, there are different backgrounds from where you are staying right now. Can you also share with us, like the challenges, how it feels to be fasting in Belgium and also in Japan? Especially Elmo with the Ishikawa is on the alert status for earthquake. Vanessa
Yes,
can go first.
okay. Actually, currently there's no earthquake anymore in Ishikawa. Start from the 1st January this year. There is a big earthquake. Is I think it's the highest, the biggest in this past 3 years in Japan, and during the Ramadan, people come to the university to to do the fasting and breakfasting together. And yeah, we have the community, Muslim community in our university, and it consists with the other nationality like Indonesians, Pakistans, Bangladesh, Malaysia. And yeah, we gather together not only in the fasting or breakfasting. We also doing the prayer together, especially in Subuh and in Maghrib.
Wow, so that sounds like a lot of Indonesian communities in Japan as well. But let us move to Vanessa Utami, who's now in Brussels, Belgium. Vanessa, you said earlier that this is your first year fasting in Belgium. So tell us a little bit about your experience there. How did you manage to go through to your rituals? And also, did you meet a lot of Indonesian communities in Brussels as well to help you go through the Ramadan month?
All right. So for me, this is my first time fasting abroad, which is I find it quite different from my experience when I observing Ramadan in Indonesia. For the fasting period, it's like fairly comparable to Indonesia, lasting around 13 hours. So for the fasting period, it's not really a big deal, but it's challenging to find Indonesian food for the iftar and pre-dawn meal. But there's I find an Indonesian Muslim community in Belgium that organize iftar and prayer together once in a week. So it's really helped me to alleviate my homesickness, and also like there's in on that event I can also meet a lot of people from Indonesia, and we can also sharing stories, and they usually gives me like any information, especially in Belgium. It's hard to find halal food, so they always warn me to be careful with the food, and I need to be like wisely to choose the restaurant if I eat outside, and also I need to like read the ingredients when I purchasing items from the supermarket, something like that.
So you can't, you have to be extra careful also,
Yeah.
so that's it. I wonder if the same problem is happening in Japan. Maybe Almo can tell us a bit, how easy it is there in Ishikawa to find halal food.
Yeah, I think in Ishikawa is more difficult than others city in Japan because Ishikawa is a countryside. It's not the big city like Tokyo or Osaka or Kyoto. That's in countryside. The capital city of Ishikawa Prefecture is Kanazawa. It is the most close city to my university. It takes uh, 40 minutes by a car, driving a car. So it's quite impossible for us to reach the big city. So my university is JAIS, Japan Advanced Institute of Science and Technology. The university located in the middle of the mountain.
Oh, okay.
So
Wow.
sometimes in the summer,
Uh-huh.
beer, snack appear. And yeah, we living in the middle of the mountain. We cannot commute to the restaurant easily.
Mhm.
So we have to do the groceries every once a week or twice once 2 week to buy more grocery and make some saving food for one week ahead or 2 week ahead. So it's quite difficult to find the halal or halal food or food, yeah, especially in Ishikawa. So, but it's not problem because we have a shuttle bus from the university. It's a free shuttle bus. They can pick us and take us to the nearest supermarket and we can buy. But yeah, it's quite it takes a time 1 hour or 2 hours to come and go.
Wow, what an amazing story, That probably
Yeah.
cooking your own food would be a solution as well.
Yeah.
I wonder if, living in Brussels, Vanessa, do you cook your own food during Ramadan to make sure that you're eating halal food? Or do you cook with your friends, Indonesian students over there? Because I understand that you're also active at the PPI organization also, aren't you?
Yes, most of the time I cook for my food because yeah, I like cooking. Indeed, it's also easier than me than going outside to get a food for iftar and pre-dawn meal. And sometimes I just prepare my food at night before I sleep, and then in the morning I just put it on a microwave. So it's like a rather simple for me. And for me, I live in student dorm from the
Mm.
campus, and one of my friend is Muslim, but she's not from Indonesia. She's from Morocco, so sometimes we just sharing food, and then I'm sure that her food is halal. For the activity in PPI, I also always like join the like iftar together with them, so we just go outside and then we get a food together for the iftar.
Okay, as we are still talking about food, we saw the visual from Elmo. There were sushi. Do you often like breakfast or iftar with sushi, or you prefer still like takjil, or maybe you miss gorengan, the fried snacks from Indonesia? What food, what traditional Indonesian food for iftar that you guys miss the most that you cannot find there?
Okay, yeah. In the common days, in the days out of Ramadan, I usually eat the Japanese food combined with the Indonesian food. Sometimes I eat the Indonesian food, but mostly I eat the Japanese food because we live in Japan, so we want to like live like Japanese because the food healthy, good for healthy. So, but when we enter the Ramadan, we miss the Indonesian food, you know. So we want to do the same food with the people in Indonesian doing the iftar. So often we we cook the takjil like pastel, risol, of course bala-bala or bakwan, and we usually eat them as takjil. And yeah, we very love the takjil food rather than Japanese food for takjil, especially for takjil in Ramadan.
Wow, all
Yeah.
this conversation about food are making me hungry, you know.
Yeah, and also like bala-bala cannot be replaced with tempura.
No, it's not. It's not the same thing. Please don't. So it's really interesting that our friends here, Elmo, has been staying in Japan for a couple of years, and Vanessa. But Vanessa, this is for her. Is her first year in Belgium. So I was wondering how was the adaptation process for you has been living in Belgium, such a far country from where you're from Yogyakarta, and during this Ramadan season, what are the things that you really miss the most about being in Indonesia during Ramadan month?
So for me, what I miss the most is the situation when we have like a subuh prayer together in the mosque, because in Indonesia it's often really crowded when it's subuh prayer, because all of the people gather together, and then they usually has some activity after we finish the subuh prayer. In my region, before in Indonesia, we often going for a walk after we have subuh prayer, and then we just like relax together, and then we just go home after, and then usually I sleep because in Indonesia, in during Ramadan, they often like readjust the daily activity and also the schedule of the school or from the campus, so we have like more time at home. But here in Belgium, some of the people is not fasting. I mean, like there's many Muslim people, but not the majority. So some of them is not fasting. So the daily activity remain as usual, and then we just need to follow the system.
Mm.
And yeah, for me, I still have a lot of field work, so I just need to follow the schedule. But I need to communicate with the people that responsible for the schedule that I need to pray 5 times a day.
Mm.
I need to eat freedom. I need to eat iftar, like something like that.
That is so interesting. So
Yep.
coming from a country where being a Muslim is the majority, and now living in a country where they have the experience of being a minority, you have to
Yes.
explain everything to everybody around you.
Yeah.
So that's an experience to be
I-
sure.
Is the reaction of the people surround you who are not fasting might be a challenge for you, both for Vanessa and also for Elmo?
All right.
Yeah.
For me, honestly, they're really nice. Sometimes they sharing food for lunch, and then because I cannot eat lunch, they just keep the food for my iftar. Like they say to me, like Vanessa, I will keep this food for you because you cannot eat now, so you can eat later on iftar.
That is nice. That is nice. So, food is the language of, love and friendship. So I wonder
True.
if the same thing goes to Elmo as
Elmo.
well. Tell us a story about, food and how are you sharing Indonesian food with your colleagues in Japan as well?
Yeah, when the first time I tell my Japanese friend about Ramadan,
Mm.
maybe they're familiar with the Ramadan words. So, and as we said, we explained to them about what is Ramadan, what is fasting. The name is in Japanese is Danjiki. Danjiki means fasting. So they are very surprised that how can you fasting in 1 month? How can you will be dying? So
Mm.
it's quite different reaction from the European people or the American people when heard about the fasting.
Yeah.
So because the Japanese people always take food regularly, from the morning and afternoon and night. So but when they heard about the fasting,
Hmm.
from the morning to the evening, they are very surprised and will you be die
Mhm.
when you fasting? So this is the first impression of about heard about the Ramadan.
Mhm.
So but after we explain about the Ramadan, they become normally familiar about the situation, and sometimes they ask me to make fasting break fasting together in some
Uh,
restaurant in Indonesia, and we did it last week in Pakistan restaurant together with my Japanese friends.
wow, that is really interesting.
Yep.
So we wish we have more time to talk to you guys, and we would like to thank you so much for sharing information about your life living in abroad and during Ramadan. So us here back home can have a vision of how we feel like to live abroad like you guys. So do you have any ways for our viewers to know more about you? Maybe social medias or blogs or LinkedIn profile or whatever. Maybe we go to Elmo first.
Okay, thank you very much for inviting me in this program. It's very good program to sharing our experience as diaspora in other countries. So you can keep in touch with me to by typing the at Elmo Jonara in at Instagram,
Mm-hmm.
and you can search me on LinkedIn Elmo Jonara, so we can connect together, yeah, and communicate uh, later. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Elmo. And Vanessa Utami, go ahead.
Yes, thank you for inviting me. So you can also still connect with me, maybe on LinkedIn. My LinkedIn is Vanessa Utami.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Okay.
Thank you, Vanessa, Elmo.
Have
Have
a
a great
blessed day,
Ramadan.
you
Yeah.
too, in Japan and also in Brussels.
Thank you, guys. Take care.